Hello, welcome to another gut reaction. Got a few of these lined up in the near future. As you can see, I'm in my winter issue Outcasts clothing because things being as they are, one can't afford the £1,000 a month heating bills right now. So trying to save money wherever possible. Now, those people that followed my channel since the beginning will know I'm a big fan of the Western genre, and also I have quite a big interest in the American Civil War. In fact, I really enjoyed the documentary series that ran for quite a considerable number of episodes I think it was in the late 1980s, early 1990s. Good. I mean, a really good comprehensive overview of the whole thing. So we have been presented with yet another Western show from the stable, the unstoppable stable of the tour de force that is producer Taylor Sheridan. The first two episodes dropped, I think, just yesterday, and I was quite keen to see this production because not only am I generally quite impressed with Mr. Sheridan's work, but there are also a number of my favorite actors in this production, and it's about a period of history that I'm particularly interested in, and that is Lawman, Bass Reeves. Now, this title suggests to me that they might be looking at doing other series with this prefix title. So Lawman, Wyatt Earp, for example. I mean, I'm not suggesting that that one's going to be done. It's been done to death. But I have a feeling that Taylor Sheridan and indeed producer Chad Feehan, who is also the creator of this show, the driving force behind this particular vehicle, may well be looking to distill to us viewers some other stories of unsung heroes of the American West, and Lawman Bass Reeves was certainly one of those. He was the first Black American deputy to serve in, I guess, what you would call the Wild West. He fought in the Civil War next to what then would have been his master, effectively, on the side of the South, would you believe? Not particularly willingly, but that was indeed true, that did happen. I'm going to talk about the show. This isn't going to be an in-depth look at it. This is just my gut reaction to the first two episodes. Hence, it's a episode of gut reaction. It's not an episode of Chew the Fat where we do a really in-depth review. This is the real guy. So I'm just going to show a picture of the real Bass Reeves. Here he is, American lawman. And as with all American lawmen of that day, he had a particularly impressive tash. I think there's a requirement if you watch the Wyatt Earp film with Kurt Russell. And what's this? James Woolard, 1,000 per month. What are you powering in there, Lance? I've no idea what this means, James. Please elaborate. If 1,000 per month would be lovely. Be nice to get some money. Yeah. So basically, this is the real guy. This is the real guy, and this is the British actor who plays him, David Olaweyo, who I have seen on stage. I think it was in a production of Othello, but it might have been a different Shakespeare piece quite some time ago now. And as people will know, my memory's not too fantastic. So it's a true story. The pilot episode sort of covers, opens with a particularly spectacular scene during the American Civil War. It's a very well handled piece of action with all the typical bells and whistles that you would expect with a show that has got Taylor Sheridan's name on it. I grabbed a couple of screenshots from the episode just because I just want to bring to the old my energy bill, £1,000 a month. Yeah, it's not quite that much, but you know what I mean. It's expensive. It's expensive. Thank you, James. I just want to show this picture. This kind of exemplifies the quality of attention to detail now that you get in a Taylor Sheridan production. Now, I'm sure some of these lads in this shot are American Civil War reenactors, and some of them may well just be key extras or actors. Some of them might be from the company. I forget the name of the company that did all the extras for Band of Brothers, with the officer, of course, who's involved in running that company, Dale Dye's company. It may well be that they're part of that group. I don't know. But if you look at the attention to detail with the historically correct look of the Southern Army here in this shot, I've got to tell you, it's bang on, really fantastic. Because it was very, very rare, unlike Britain's toy soldiers figures implied, that the Southern uniforms matched to any great degree. It was, grey, white, browns, a mix of all of the above, just anything but blue. Don't wear blue, otherwise you might get shot by your own picket line. And you can see that the men look very grubby. And this is an engagement which takes place in 1962 between the North and the South, which the South are victorious in. But it's shortly after this that Bass's master decides to duck out of the war. So just want to sort of this production has a sense of scale. I mean, look at that shot there. This is of Southern reinforcements arriving with David Oluwayo in the foreground. It's just, it's these kinds of visuals in this type of show that make it a cut above the rest. Now, so before we even get on to, is the script any good, performance, all of that kind of stuff, it's these kinds of visuals and this scale that is always consistent in a Taylor Sheridan production. It feels like the world is big. You feel like you're seeing history. You feel very much like a fly on the wall in this real world, and I don't know how big the budget was for the show. I guess I'll have a quick look, but it just goes to show that it's there's a lot of attention to detail here, and they've pulled out all the stops to make this a really good quality looking television show. And I think it looks fantastic. It's the story of Bass Reeves has been told a number of times before. There's a film called They Die by Dawn, where he's portrayed by Harry Lennox. Hell on the Border is an action film that's kind of loosely based on the early career of him as a law enforcement officer. Ron Perlman was in that, and it stars David Gyasi. I haven't seen it. I've seen the trailer for it, but I haven't seen it. Amazon Studios was also developing a biopic based on this lawman, but I don't think it ever got any further. In that film, The Harder They Fall, Delroy Lindo is not in like a guest role portraying Reeves, and Isaiah Washington portrays him in the independent film called Corsicana, which is a fairly recent film that I've also not seen. There was also a rival television show which was being co-produced by Morgan Freeman. I don't think he was going to play the role, a bit too old now, which was under development by HBO from as early as 2015. Now that show did not morph into this one. This is a separate show, and yeah, you can see it on Paramount Plus. I have to say, of all the streaming services, I think Paramount Plus has, in my mind anyway, is producing consistently good quality television. So just giving them my vote there for what it's worth with my mass audience that's watching right now. David Macy, thanks for popping in. And yeah, thanks, James. Yes, indeed they did. Shoes was a big problem for both sides a lot of the time. So, okay. let's just talk about the show. Is it any good? Yes. I was fairly engaged. The lead performance from David Oduwaya is pretty captivating. I want to give shout outs to the other people in the cast, the actors who play his sort of love interest and daughter, Lauren Banks and Demi Singleton, are both very good, very talented. And there weren't any weak links in the cast for me. You've got a number of other interesting actors that pop up early on. Shea Wiggum plays the master of Bass Reeves, who in real life he did actually beat up after accusing him of cheating at cards. Shea Wiggum is somebody you might know from Broadwalk Empire with Steve Buscemi, of course. And he's an actor that has really rose to prominence in the last 10, 15 years. I like him in anything I see him in. He's always great value. A very precision actor with his performance. You know what you're getting with this guy, and it's always good. Those crows play a supporting role. So the horsemanship and all of that stuff is very well done. Now, Donald Sutherland hasn't popped up in it yet, so I can't comment on his storyline. Like I say, I've only watched the first 2 episodes. Dennis Quaid plays the lawman who actually hires Bass Reeves and gives him his deputy badge. So it's a solid performance from Quaid, almost unrecognizable in the role. This is on set, I'm guessing, behind the scenes slightly here. Yeah, so this looks like the production on set. So there's Taylor Sheridan once more, Ronnie Cole Jackson. So these are some of the locations. The show is predominantly shot in Texas. I will probably do a more in-depth review of the show further down the road. There's a lot of on-set production pictures here, which are quite interesting. But so the first episode predominantly sets up the story. The second episode is really about him getting hired as a lawman. There's a few tropes and things that we've seen before, and there's some stuff about the show that's not particularly original. But on the whole, I have to say that this is a really well crafted piece. I think I'm going to hold off my rating on it for now until I've seen the whole season. I think I can't find out how many episodes there's going to be. It made it sound like it was just a 2-episode feature film event almost. And I can't actually, but clearly it's not, because, episode 2 kind of ends on a bit of a cliffhanger. You've got Barry Pepper in the film in a supporting role. And he's playing characters we've seen Barry Pepper play before, but Barry Pepper, even on an average day, is always an actor who, in my mind, is incredibly, incredibly watchable. And there's a number of other things that are kind of set up. Donald Sutherland plays a judge. But, yeah, I think for me at the minute, the show it's a good show. I want to see the rest of it. I think anybody who's invested in history or the Western genre is going to be interested in this show. I didn't feel like the show was just a box ticking exercise. It felt like a very sincere attempt to get the history correct. I didn't feel like I was watching anything that was embellished or, within the realms of stuff that's made for television, of course. So, really sterling performances, particularly from David Oduwaya, and also Lauren Banks, who plays his wife. Their relationship is a little bit too dry, maybe, if I've got any criticism about the show thus far. Yeah, it's a lot of setup in the first 2 episodes. A lot of setup. Really good action scenes when they occur. Yeah, so it's a recommendation from me. I will do a second one of these when I've seen the rest of the show. I might do a chew the fat on the whole thing. But do I recommend it? Yes, I do. Should you watch it? Yes, you should, especially if you're interested in these periods of history. I'm going to wrap this up now by saying I'm always interested in looking at the work from Taylor Sheridan. I would give my right arm to get him to give me an interview on this channel. I have put that out there to him. I have discussed his work in detail before. I'm looking at doing a Chew the Fat episode on the Mayor of Kingstown, which is another favourite show of mine of Taylor Sheridan's. So you can expect me to be doing more episodes about Sheridan's work in detail in future. If you want to look at another one, Matthew Holmes and I did an episode of Chew the Fat on the Yellowstone universe, and we talked about that at length, and we looked at the locations and where it's shot and all kinds of stuff. That's also available on the channel. Coming up next, I think week after next, I've got stunt coordinator, stuntman Dan Stiles coming in, who's got a good 36 production feature films under his belt. Going to be a very interesting chap to be interviewed. Hello, Whitey. Good to see you, sir. I can't remember if I'm on tonight's episode. What is it discussing? Remind me. What's the topic tonight? So yeah, I'm back with a gaming stream in about half an hour. I'll be continuing my quest to complete the Mad Max epic Road Warrior Highway Holocaust, taking my clan across country to safety. I actually got killed when I was running the game the other week, and unfortunately, but we sort of did a blag and we carried on playing it. I actually want to go back a little bit in the story to where I wanted to make a different decision at this junction, and chat and my co-host voted for me to go the other way. So I want to go back and go the other way and see if I can do it without getting killed. So Captain Marvel, okay. I did offer to be on that because as of yet, I still have not watched Captain Marvel because it came out just as I was, not just, it came out about a year or two after I was completely jaded with all superhero content. I just was bored of it, really, and wasn't really interested in seeing any more. I think Captain America Civil War was the last Marvel film that I probably really enjoyed. There's been a couple of others that I've quite liked. First Black Panther was fun. But I think Captain America Civil War was the last one I thought, oh yeah, that was a pretty good movie with really good action where I could follow what was going on, and it didn't feel, the CGI felt necessary rather than just everywhere, if you know what I mean. Leroy Peters, who's a friend of mine and who writes Western books, watched the first episode yesterday, episode 2 today. Leroy, as an African-American writer who's very interested in Westerns, and I assume this period of history, what did you think? And I'll tell you what, mate, when I come back and I do a more detailed analysis of the show, the second part of this effectively, why don't you come on and be my guest? It will probably be on a Monday or a Tuesday around this kind of time. I'll be doing a sequel or a pickup of this effectively at that time. Cool. Okay. So 6 people watching. Thanks for tuning in. This is just an episode of Gut Reaction. It's Gut Reaction 2, Lawman, Bass Reeves. Anyone tuning in who didn't catch the beginning, I thought it was good. Just Whitey, just to let you know, by the way, I offered to go on that stream. I thought it might be quite fun because I hadn't seen it to actually, I suggested to Cannoli, why don't I watch the film like right before you guys are due to go live, and then I can jump on with you, having literally just watched it. But I think it was already full, so they didn't go for that idea. But I would have been happy to come on. Leroy, I will try and remember, and if I forget, and you see me streaming about this again, and you happen to come on, I know you're on my Facebook, so I'll just drop you the link, and you can literally just jump on there and then. Don't forget to wear a cowboy hat for that stream. Very, very important. I've got one actually. It's up there somewhere. I have to make sure I dig it out and put it on for the next one. Okay, all right, guys, that's it from me. I'm going to be back in 30 minutes, give or take, 10 p.m. Going to be back at 10 p.m. UK time, where I'm going to be continuing to play Freeway Warrior and doing lots of silly voices for characters and that sort of thing. And yeah. So that'd be very interesting to see. Shield Wall of Dragons, what's up? Bass Reeves, a very interesting person he is, and his story deserves to be told. Just hope the show does it justice. Yeah, I mean, so he's got a great Wikipedia page, so much information about the real guy. There he is. So, you know, time to eat. Okay, man, just, you know, try and only eat one of the children tonight if you can. Yeah, so okay, guys, so I'm going to sign out now. That's it for me. I will be back in just over half an hour to do my next Freeway Warrior stream. I'll probably be coming off that stream just as the Captain Marvel one is starting on the Cannoli Sasquatch channel. All right, see you guys soon. Take care. Bye.